and I'm an exercise specialist at the Seneca Nation Health System. And today we are going to be giving you a few safe and effective exercises that you can perform in the comfort of your own home using minimal equipment. Basically, all you really need is a chair, or if you do have some light dumbbells that you can use, as well as maybe a small pillow or a rolled up blanket, all stuff that everyone should have. These exercises are safe for everyone to perform. However, these exercises are geared more towards our elderly population. So to get started, you're going to want to do maybe a 5 to 10 minute warm-up. This is important to increase the blood flow to your muscles, slowly increase your heart rate, as well as increase your body temperature to prepare it for exercise. And to do this, these are some simple things that you can do at home. So the first one would be marching in place. So you can do this for 20 seconds, and you can do it at your own pace, but start slowly. You don't want to increase your heart rate too much. So then after about 20 seconds, we're going to go into the next exercise, which can be done sitting or standing, depending on what you need. So it's called arm reaches. So you would take one arm, reach it above your head, bring it back down, do the other side. And you're going to want to do this 10 times. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And again, you can do this as fast or as slowly as you need. It's very individualized depending on you. So then the next one, you can sit down and you're going to kick your legs out. So it would look like this. And you would want to do this about 10 times. So after you do 10 of those, you can go back into the marching in place for 20 seconds. And again, you can pick up the pace if you want, it's up to you. But you want it to be a little bit, little fast because you want to increase your heart rate. So then after you do that, another 20 seconds, you can go into the next exercise, which is called arm circles. And this can be done sitting or standing. So if you're doing it standing, it would look like this. And if you're doing it sitting, you can do it in a chair that has arms. It would be a little bit easier if it didn't. Okay, so for the next one, you want to sit in a chair or you can stand, totally up to you, but it's just rolling your wrists. And you want to do that about 10 times. So after you do that 10 times, you can go onto your ankle and do some ankle rolls, 10 on each leg. And again, this is just increasing the motion at your joints, warming them up to prepare your body for exercise. So after you do 10 ankle rolls on each leg, you can go into the shoulder rolls, which will be sitting upright and rolling your shoulders backwards 10 times, and then you can roll them forward 10 times. And then the next one is called Plantar Flexion, where you'll be pointing your toes down. So you'll lift your leg a little bit off the ground and point your toe down. You'll want to do that 10 times on both sides. And then what you're going to do for the next one is you're going to take your foot, lifting it off the ground, and point your toe towards the ceiling. This is called dorsiflexion. after you complete that, your body should start to feel warmed up. However, if you don't feel like you're sufficiently warmed up and ready for exercise, you can repeat all of the previous exercises that I mentioned again. The first exercise that we're going to do is called a sit-to-stand. So you're going to sit towards the edge of the chair with your feet about shoulder width apart. And what you're going to do is you're going to push yourself up using your lower legs. The target muscles for this exercise are your lower legs, your back, as well as your core. So the idea is to not use your arms. However, if you do need to modify and use your arms to help you push yourself up, that's okay. But for those of you that can do it without your arms, you're going to want to cross your arms across your chest, drive your heels into the ground, and push yourself up. And you're going to want to do this 10 times. 2, 3, and you're going to want to do this slowly and controlled. You don't want to stand up too fast because you can become unsteady. 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's important to remember that your legs are doing most of the work in that exercise. So ideally you'd want to do this 3 times, 10 repetitions. However, if one set of 10 is all you can do, that's okay. And as 3 sets of 10 gets easier, you can increase the number to 3 sets of 15. So the next exercise is called a wall push-up. So you're going to want to stand a little bit further than arm's length apart from a wall, facing it. Your feet are about shoulder width apart, and you're going to plant your palms flat on the wall. Again, shoulder height, shoulder width apart. And this exercise is working your arms as well as your shoulder muscles and chest. And you're going to push down in and bring it back up. Again, this move is slow and controlled as well. You don't want to whip through it. So you're just gonna, and you don't have to touch, just go down and you're gonna bend your elbows out. So this exercise you again would want to do 10 times with a goal of doing 3 sets of 10. The next exercise is called a calf raise. And if you need to hold onto a chair or a countertop to stabilize yourself, please feel free to do that. You're going to stand with your feet about hip width apart, holding on to the chair or the countertop if necessary, and you're going to raise your heels and go up onto your tiptoes. You're going to hold that for 1 second and go back down, and then you're going to repeat 10 times. And this exercise is working the back of your calf muscle back here, which is important to stabilize yourself while you're walking and doing everyday activities. And as it gets easier, you can only hold on with one hand. And eventually, if you feel comfortable to do so, you can do it without holding on. So the next exercise is called a chair dip. So you need a sturdy chair, and you're going to sit with your feet hip width apart, and you're going to have your hands holding on to the sides of the chair. So you need a chair that has arms. And this exercise is going to be targeting the back of your arm, called your tricep. And what you're going to want to do is use your arms to push yourself up off of the chair. And if you can only go a little bit, that's okay. So you're going to want to do 10 of those as well. And this is a functional exercise because you're getting up and down out of chairs all day long. So it's important to have strong triceps to be able to perform that motion. So after you do 10, if you want to do another set of 10, feel free. And after you do If you do 20 and you feel like you can do more, go ahead and do 10 more. So the next exercise is called a seated torso twist. So you're going to want to be sitting in a sturdy chair. If you have one without arms, it is a little bit easier, but you can do it with in a chair that has arms. So your feet, again, are going to be hip width apart, and you're going to keeping good posture, meaning you're sitting upright with your back straight, and you're going to keep your hips facing forward, and you're just going to twist like this. And if you have like a pillow or a soccer ball at home to make it a little bit harder, you can use that for a little bit of added resistance. So you would just twist, go back to center, and twist. And for that one, I would do 10 on each side, so a total of 20. The next exercise is called an overhead press, and this exercise can be done sitting or standing. If you need the modification, you can sit down and do this exercise. You can do this exercise using only your arms or dumbbells if you have them available to you, or you can use a water bottle, soup cans. Just make sure that they kind of weigh about the same. So for this exercise, starting position is going to be with your arms out like a goalpost, and then you're going to extend them above your head. And you're going to want to do this 10 times. And if you feel like you can do more after 10, you can do another set. It's all based on how you feel. So if you're doing it with just your body weight, just your arms, it would look like this. So you would be in starting position and extend up. The next exercise is called elbow to knee, and you're going to be sitting in the chair, and you're going to raise one hand out in front of you, and then you're going to bring your opposite knee up and bring your elbow down. And this is working your core muscles. So you're going to want to do 10 on each side. And the important thing is to not bend at the waist. So you're going to have your arm out, bring your knee up, go back to start. And after you do 10 on that side, you're going to switch. So you'll raise your other arm and bring up your opposite knee. So do 10 on each side, and if you feel like you can do more, you can do another set. So the next exercise is called adduction. So you're going to be sitting in a chair, and if you have a throw pillow or a blanket, you can roll that up. I have a yoga block because I have that available, but at home a pillow works great. But what you're going to do is place it in between your knees. Your feet are about hip width apart again. And this is working the inner muscles of your thighs, your hip adductors. So after you place the pillow or pillow or blanket in between your knees, you're going to squeeze your knees against the block for 2 to 3 seconds, and then you'll release. And you might need to hold on to whatever it is that you're squeezing just so it doesn't fall down. So you're going to want to do that 10 times. Pausing between each repetition. And then again, after you do 10, you can feel free to do another set and even 3 sets. So the next exercise is called resisted abduction. So you'll be sitting in a chair with your feet hip width apart, and you're going to take your hands and place them on the outer sides of your thighs. And this is going to be your added resistance for this exercise. So what you're going to want to do is, while your hands are over here on the outer parts of your thighs, you're going to bring them out against your resistance of your hand. And this exercise is working the outer muscles of your thigh, called your hip abductors. Your feet should remain flat on the floor during this exercise. So you don't want to move your feet while you're performing the exercise. So you would hold this for 2 to 3 seconds, and then bring it back to center, and then do it again. and you want to do that 10 times. If you do have a like a TheraBand or a stretchy exercise band, you can wrap that around and that will work as the resistance, but not everyone does, but you can use your hands. Okay, so the next exercise is called a hamstring curl, and if you need to hold on to something to support yourself, please do that. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna lift one leg up and bend your knee. And this is working your hamstring muscles, the back of your leg. You're gonna wanna bring it up, hold for 1 second, and then bring it back down. You would wanna perform 10 on each leg, and it's important that your thighs kind of remain parallel, that you're not going up like this, because you're losing the effectiveness of the exercise. So after you perform 10 on this leg, you're going to want to switch and go to the other leg. And your toe should be pointing down during while it's lifted up. So after you do 10, up to you at home if you want to do 10 more repetitions. Just depends on how you feel. Okay, so our last sets of exercises that we're going to do are balance exercises that are more specifically geared towards our elderly population. However, pretty much anyone can benefit from doing these balance exercises. So the first one is called a tandem walk, and if you do already have a very unsteady gait, then I would recommend that you do not perform this exercise. However, you can safely perform the exercises that come after this. But the first one is called a tandem walk. So you are going to start, and if you have somewhere like a floor tile that has a line, a straight line, that works best. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to put your one foot in front of the other, heel to toe. Walking on the line, trying not to wobble, and keeping straight. Again, if you are very unsteady, I would not recommend starting with that exercise just because it is a little bit more difficult. That's something that you can work up to as you get better with these other exercises. The next exercise is called a single leg stance, or otherwise known as standing on one foot. Stabilize yourself using a chair or a countertop, whatever works best for you. Something that's kind of similar in height, about hip width, hip height works best. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring one of your legs back, bending at the knee, and you're going to try to hold for 5 seconds. If you can go longer, I would say go to 10, and then you'll place it down. I would say if the goal is to start with 10 seconds, to want to hold for 10 seconds. And you might find that you have an easier time standing on one leg as opposed to the other. That's very common. Some people have one leg is stronger than the other. And you're gonna, again, kind of want to keep your thighs parallel as best you can. And I would say probably start with 5 repetitions. If you can hold for 5 seconds, hold for 5 seconds 5 times. If you can hold for 10 seconds, do that 5 times. With a goal to kind of increase your time each time. So the next balance exercise will be standing up. If you need to stabilize yourself, if you are unsteady, please do that using a counter or a chair. So what we're going to do here is draw circles with your feet. So you're going to take one leg and draw circles above the floor. And I would say probably do five circles, and then go back and do 5 circles on the other one. exercises that we're going to do are using a tennis ball, and you can do this sitting down, and what you're going to do is you're just going to toss the ball between each hand, and you're going to want to try to not look. This is working on your proprioception, which is important for your balance as well as preventing falls. So after you do that about 10 times, after you feel confident with that one, you can also try to do it with your eyes closed. And that's a little bit harder, and it's a little bit more challenging on your vestibular system. So then there's a couple other ones that you can do. You can just practice dropping, switching hands. You'll find the dropping might be a little bit more challenging than just tossing. And you can start with sitting down. As you get better at this, you can try to do it standing up, even stabilizing yourself against a wall. And then you can even progress to standing up, just tossing the ball, bouncing it, switching arms. Again, this is working on your proprioception as well as reaction time, which is important as we get older. Those kind of tend to slow down as we age. This you can progress to walking and tossing, making it a little bit harder. Engaging in exercise is helpful for your total body. You sleep better. It can offer stress reduction, improves your mood. It can help to reduce your anxiety. It's important to keep your body hydrated before exercise, during, as well as after. So drinking plenty of water. Also, it's important to make sure that you do eat that day before you exercise. Maybe not right before, but it's important to have, breakfast or lunch. If you are diabetic, it's important to be monitoring for signs of hypoglycemia during exercise, such as shakiness, fatigue. If you do experience those symptoms, then you would want to stop that exercise and check your blood sugar just to see. And if it is lower than 100, I would say eat a small snack with 15 grams of carbohydrates. You can have, a cup of juice, a protein bar, things like that, just to get your blood sugar back up. If you do have diabetes, type 2 diabetes more specifically, then you can actually help to lower your blood sugars and lower your A1C. And now that you have the basics, you can continue to keep yourself healthy and strong, and you don't even have to leave your house.